I think these normally
they should flip.
adjust.
Alright, my apologies.
No, other way.
Oh, yeah, you got it. Dota TV's getting their ears destroyed.
We're having some audio malfunctions here. No, we're fine, guys. We're going to be starting in just a moment. Just got to get the stream caught up.
Are you ready?
Yeah.
OG's turn to ban.
I'll mostly let you do the play-by-play. I'll
Okay.
just kind of jump in if it seems like you need it, but I'll generally just kind of do the...
I think the way we do it with Dakota, where we just kind of back and forth kind of thing.
Yeah.
Whenever you want to do it, I'll know, so we'll be alright.
I'll follow your lead.
Okay.
5 seconds remaining.
Alright, here we go.
Newbees turn to ban.
Hello, everybody, and welcome back into the Manila Major. We are here. It is beautiful in Manila, the Philippines, of course. Our first best of 3, at least for me and LD here, for the group stages. It is Newbee and OG. We are going to jump right into this best of 3. And, David, I don't think we're really surprised or shocked by the 2 teams that are actually currently in this particular winner's bracket, or winner's game, I should say.
No, both teams looked extremely dominant. I would say more so Newbee, who just dismantled complexity, but we have to remember this is a complexity that comes into this tournament having lost, it was like 4 or 5 series in a row to Digital Chaos.
Yes.
They looked a little bit figured out. Unfortunately for them, a lot of the American qualifiers were happening right before the major, so there weren't any patches, there weren't any big changes to the game, some slight tweaks in that window, but overall the games mostly remain the same, and there's a lot of tape now on complexity. So Newbee took full advantage of that, outdrafted them, out-executed them, demolished them. The OG series was a little bit closer, but overall, I mean, coming in OG, I think is in most people's top 4, at the worst, probably top 6. So
that goes for both of the teams too. You talk about Newbee, and Nahaz and I were talking about this. Going up against a team like that, that's one of the teams you don't want to have to go up against, especially a team that has no confidence, like you were talking about with complexity at the get-go. They came in, and it wasn't the fact that they just got beat. They lost, essentially. So they got demolished 2-0 very quickly. The first game was 20 minutes. It was pretty ridiculous. So for complexity, they have to look to rebound in the next series, which will come up. I think it's actually at the same time as this one, I believe, between both them as well as Empire. So that should be on another stream. For now, we have Newbee versus OG. We're going to jump right into the drafts. One thing that OG really likes to prioritize is getting Earth Spirit for crit, but they do get the Lifestealer first. And both of these teams they highly value the Lifestealer. We've seen Newbee pick it a ton. Their past five games coming into this tournament, they picked up Lifestealer for Newbee. So they're going to give it to OG, but they're going to take up the Earth Spirit here with their first pick, and then they have another pick coming up.
It's a matchup that somewhat goes both ways. Like, Earth Spirit almost entirely relying on magic damage. Obviously, Lifestealer has rage, so he doesn't really have to worry about that. But if you can get the jump on him with the silence, you have some potential to take down Lifestealer, especially in the early to mid game. And Earth Spirit isn't really threatened. He's not like an easy solo kill, right? He's not a Crystal Maiden or a Lion where if Lifestealer rages and open wounds you, you're just going to die. He can always roll away. So yeah. I think it's a pretty even matchup between the two of them. What I do like for Newbee here is they get the Voids. They get some BKB or Magic Community Piercing Lockdown. They also get Bash, which is great against Lifestealer, and another hero that is not an easy solo kill.
Yeah.
So it's not going to be the easiest Lifestealer game in that sense. And now OG, they see the Void and the Earth Spirit, a lot of AoE damage here, and a lot of AoE Lockdown, and they go right into an IO. Most teams, I would say, I don't know about that IO pick, but this is OG. They have, I mean, several of the best IO players in the world. So it's just, you give OG their IO historically, it tends not to go so hot.
No, I think that's true for a lot of, I mean, OG has such a wide hero pool, not just with their support heroes, but you talk about Miracle, obviously, too. Like, we saw him play Timbersaw, Dreamly, we saw him play so many different heroes. They switch up their roles often when they put No Tail mid, they put Miracle mid, so it's very hard to ban against them. And for Newbee, that's not going to be an easy task. One thing that we do see from Newbee more often than a lot of other teams is that Enchantress pickup from Chuan. They won the last game with the Enchantress from Chuan. They had that, Nahaz and I were talking that 4-minute gank where they go down bottom and they get a couple of camps in that Radiant side on the Dire side. He goes down bottom, gets off an ice smoke with the sea gank, and from there they kind of just transition into, they're just ahead at all stages of the game with the Enchantress coming out. So whether or not they want to, they already have the Earth Spirit, so more than likely than not, they're not going to have that Chuan Enchantress, but...
Yeah, this is almost always, I don't think they've ever not run it on Kaka. I'm pretty sure it's been Kaka every single game. Maybe there was a game where, they picked up an IO and, Chuan handled the Earth Spirit instead, but pretty much, it's going to be support Earth Spirit for Newbee, so there will not be like that Weehaw style mid Earth Spirit. You're not likely to pick 2 roaming supports. It's a possibility. We've seen some teams do it, but I think more likely we'll see something that's a more stable laner here, but the IO already to likely be mirroring that type of movement. So Newbee going to ban out the Alchemist now. And it seems like they're somewhat trying to just get rid of the tanky cores that go well with the IO. The bristleback is well getting removed, and a lot of that just because they probably did not want to pick AA. OG's actually going to ban it anyway, but AA is the big counter to like those tanky cores that rely on a lot of heals and sustain. Lifesteal also has a lot of HP regen. Not going to matter anyway. As OG played safe, they will ban the AA, so we may see another strength core coming out for them. It definitely looks like the direction OG's headed here, or someone like a Juggernaut who relies a lot on the heal.
I was thinking DK maybe works well with the IO, something they like to play a lot. Obviously, it's, I think, more of a no-tail hero than it is Miracle. That's who they played it on last game when they picked it up. So
anything that can live through a chrono. Like, you see the Newbee draft, they're pretty reliant on burst damage and ultimate combos, but if you can relocate someone out, already a pretty good answer to the Chronosphere defensively. Any of heroes that naturally are difficult to take down, like a DK, any of those heroes will generally be a good pick. Thing is, you don't really know what Newbee's mid is. If you want to run a DK, you're going to need to protect him with the IO. So that at that point, you kind of lay your lanes on the table.
Right.
Because otherwise, let's say Newbee get a strong, like, ranged mid laner, like a Viper, for example, DK is going to have a terrible time on his own. But Newbee will take it.
They'll take the DK. That's smart, because I think we were both thinking about DK for OG, but it's not a bad choice for them either. You have good game potential with DK, with you rolling Boulder in, you have the Dragon Tail to follow up with a lot of burst damage now, too. I like this pick. I'm not sold on it yet. But OG, I think they were trying to go that route, and now they have to think of something else. I don't know. It's kind of interesting, and it kind of hurts them too to a certain extent.
They get the instant disable as well against Lifestealer, where, yes, he has Rage, but Dragon Tail, if you go to Blink Dagger, sometimes we have seen Moo go into Shadow Blade. You get the jump on him. It's like a hero that's a BKB. It doesn't matter if you have it if you can't activate it. So I think they're putting more pressure and crit with his IO to create space this game. Also, his high armor. Feast is physical damage, so Lifestealer isn't the best match.
Usually Lifestealers will go into Desolator. That is an interesting choice, but one that I am super happy about for OG.
This is kind of the opposite of what I was suggesting, where they may have to run the IO mid to help out the DK, but now it's kind of the mirror of that, where Earthspear likely will be spending a little bit more time on the mid lane. Don't be surprised if IO goes there anyway, because if they could get the snowball going for the Viper early, DK is going to have a very bad time.
I mean, Viper just, in most matchups, in 90% of matchups in Dota 2, I think Viper usually just has the advantage here. And against DK, I think, you can get refired on. Yeah, he has a lot of armor, but the magic damage coming out from Viper is pretty strong too. Using your poison attack, it's going to be interesting to me to see how OG want to build Viper, because we just don't see him that often. It's just like, what item choice is he going to go for? He's going to hit treads. What is he going to... there's a lot of options for a Viper for OG to decide what you want to go for in terms of itemization. But for Newbee, they still have a couple more picks. They're going to go for the Clinks, though, as their fourth pick. Put that in the safe lane. This is something they've run a lot previously, and I think this is one of those heroes that they picked up. That and Weaver, too, which, of course, Weaver's banned out, so...
Yeah, sorry guys, we are working on the audio issues here, running the solo production, so just keep us posted if there are any more audio problems. We'll try to get PGL to come and adjust. Hopefully we'll get it sorted out, but Newbee, going into the Clinks here, kind of classic counter to IO. The other big one that really comes to mind for me is the Weaver. Two heroes that have a lot of mobility. They're not vulnerable to relocate ganks generally, and they have, especially Clinks more so than Weaver, has really good burst damage. So IO base armor of 0, not a great hero to match up against Clinks.
He gets absolutely destroyed.
And this is also a hero that can hunt for the IO. IO loves to hide in trees, sit behind a core, stay out of vision. Clinks, it's a pretty good hero to punish.
Well, they'll counter up with the Slark, so they have that true sight vision that they need. They also get the amp damage, which is very good against the DK. Armor reduction, obviously very strong. So you have Lifestealer, who will probably go Desolator, I think. You have Slardar. So I think that's really important that they get this pickup. An early Blink Dagger will set up some nice kills, some good counter initiation as well. And be able to lock down the Faceless Void too is very tricky to kill with his time lock. So this is a good choice. And it's obviously one of Moon's comfort heroes. This is a hero that he plays all the damn time. It's like this and like what? Darkseer, I think?
Yeah, he likes the Midas Slardar. Now in this patch, the armlet tends to be that's like the greedy item that you'll go for. But in the off lane, we'll have to see if he can get away with it. Assuming they run him there. Lifestealer is a pretty decent offlaner as far as, like traditional one-position heroes go, because he's fairly durable, so perhaps we see them mess with the lanes against the Clinks. I don't think it's a very good matchup, so I'm still expecting the Slaughter to the offlane, but there's that potential.
They do that aggro duel, or sort of aggro duel lane, like they put Moon with another, like they did this last series, they had the Cobble and the Clockwork in that first game. They might do something similar like Slaughter, IO, or another support. It depends, kind of.
Whenever you see IO, you should think dual lanes.
Yeah.
Or roaming supports.
I don't know about putting the IO in the offlane. I think you just put another hero with the Slaughter, and then you keep the IO with the Lifestealer.
So look at this. The Enchantress actually gets banned out, even though they already have Earth Spirit, and most teams would not run two, roaming supports, I'm going to say, but I think Newbee actually could have gone for Ench here, and it would have been a big problem for OG, especially since they now pick up a Ben. So they wouldn't have a Crystal Maiden, they wouldn't have a Witch Doctor who got banned already by Newbee. They would not have like that classic response to a roaming Enchantress, but a different way to try to win the lanes for Newbee. Instead of roaming, they're going to pick a Lich here. So this is the counter to the IO pick, the counter to dual lanes. You match up dual lane on dual lane against the Lich, you're going to lose guaranteed. Unless someone horribly misplays, you should just flat out win the lane. So overall, looking at Newbee's draft right now, they have good initiation from their cores here, the Dragonite, the Void, and the Support Earth Spirit. They have great late game. They have good Roach taking potential from the Clinks, who's likely to build Desolator. The one thing I am a little worried for Newbee about is they are lacking vision here. They only have the Clinks running around to really scout. Right. They don't have a Vengeful Spirit, a Bat Rider. They like to run Spectre for Hal a lot. That's not in the pool. So to me, the key play of this game, looking at this draft, late stage will be Kaka on the Earth Spirit. Mid game, it's going to be Hal on the Clinks. Less so for killing heroes, and more so keeping tabs on the IO, setting up ganks, setting up for big objective plays like Roshan, and maybe not dropping the wards, but make it safe for the supports to go and ward.
Yeah. I think that's fair. So for me, it looks like Newbee has the better draft just because of the way they set this up, the landing phase. They're going to TP Chuan mid already. They have the wards up ready to go. I definitely like Newbee's draft better because they have more opportunities going into the late game. I feel like
look at
Clinks for 50k.
Chuan not only TPing in mid, but he smokes and he drops the hill ward. Super aggressive play by him. Definitely not. I don't think I've ever seen this from actually any team, and certainly not from Newbee. It's possible they've done it before. I mean, they've played a lot of Dota.
They just all smoke things like, all right, well, I'm just going to go mid. And
this is a really cool play because you can get wards out that normally would be just scouted by the tower.
And it's not just that hill ward. They did a ward here too towards the dire jungle. They dropped the ward down at the hard camp. So
yeah. You get that bit of extra move speed. It's maybe the counter to an enemy TP. And the nice thing is, they didn't see you as long as your smoke breaks, or it doesn't break, right? So it's a pretty next level play. Honestly, that is sick for Newbee. And again, if they're saving it for a crucial moment here. You win this series, let's say they take down OG, they're guaranteed upper bracket. They avoid the BA1 matches in the lower bracket round one. This is, to me, the exact right time to be pulling out every little trick in the book. Also, remember, last time they played OG, they got spanked at Epicenter. So this is a bit of time for vengeance.
Newbee were on a tear going into that tournament, and OG came in, they 2-1 in that series. A very good series at Epicenter as well. And you're absolutely right. This is a huge matchup coming out. Hao and Moon are going to go toe-to-toe at the top rune spot. It looks like it will be taken up by Hao and the Clinks in the end, but Crit will get the IO bounce here and down bottom, get his early bottle. And like you were talking about, because they smoked up, because they put these wards down in very early spots and very good spots, there's not going to be much for OG to counter with. They have a Sentry ward for Crit, so they can drop that down in the mid lane if they'd like, but we'll see how this vision affects them as we progress further. Right now, the lane's shaping up to be pretty standard at this point.
The big thing about that ward mid is keeping vision on the IO. IO's likely to dual lane, maybe Vengeance comes for a rotation. They're going to get aggressive here right away, but Moon just goes in with the Breathe Fire, forced to commit it, rather than normally you want to reserve that for your first couple of CS. But obviously with the damage reduction, very helpful against the Viper early on.
No-Till did get the Breathe Fire, so he didn't do as much damage as you'd like to move. He was a little too aggressive there. He just barely missed the second Breathe Fire, doing even more damage, but unfortunately doesn't get it.
Though I like the way OG are playing this, because in a passive lane, you're just going to lose, right, to any Lich lane. You'll just fall behind in experience. Once Dragonite hits 6, you can actually fight pretty effectively, even against Viper IO. So your window to dominate this lane is the first couple levels. Before the bottle comes out, regen is very low on Moo, as you can see. He actually didn't have any left, but a fresh set of Tangos forced to be purchased here. So I like the way OG are adjusting to this matchup, where Lich traditionally just wins the lanes by default, but it is still going to be very tough.
What do you think about No-Tail's itemization for the Viper as we progress further?
Probably just your standard get tanky Viper. Slark is likely to go for Armlet or Blink. I mean, once in a while Moon does get the Midas. I don't think that's something you can afford to do in the offlane unless you're playing from a big advantage. And Lifestealer's just going to get damaged. So to me, Viper has to be the mech carrier. It's also a no-tail Viper, and no-tail really does play more like the 2.5, even 3 role, despite often playing the mid laner. It's very selfless, giving more space to Miracle and even to Moon. So yeah, I would just expect standard mech, honestly.
Okay. Well, we'll keep our eyes tabbed on mid here. There's other action going on elsewhere. Moon, currently sitting at no last hits. He's not having the best time. He doesn't have an Iron Talon, so he can't head straight to that jungle, which is something some offlane slaughters do, not with much success usually, but we'll see if he heads to the jungle or one of the side camps and if he can find CS. Down bottom, KP's doing pretty well. He's got 8 last hits, up to 9 now with 2 denies. He's against Miracle. This is not an easy match, I don't think. He can time walk BB as he just does there, but this is a pretty good start. Now he's got the full creep wave under the tower too, so he's getting great experience. He's going to get a couple more last hits, and KP is going to get up to a decent amount of CS here, David.
Yeah, we're also seeing an interesting build in mid with Chuan taking the early point in Frost Armor. It is a great value point, as Moon getting harassed out a bit here top by Hal, but should be okay. But he is definitely struggling and getting zoned. I mean, so you mentioned the 2 offlaners, and comparing them, look at KP. He's almost level 4 right now. They will drop you up a wound, they already committed a stun, he just time walks away. They don't have chain stun, they don't have a silence, and they don't have burst until they get infest. So basically you can't put any pressure on the Void, and because they're running the Lich mid, you have to commit the IO there, or Dragon Knight's or just beat the Viper with the help of the Lich. So effectively, the net result of this is one offlaner is dominating in the Void and getting a ton on the lane, where Slark is not. And Clinks doesn't really need help. At some point, we could just see the Earth Spirit rotate. He can go row mid, he can smoke and try to set up a gank bottom once the Void hits 6.
I'm surprised Taka hasn't rotated earlier at this point. I mean, because he's not doing... You look at how the Clinks is doing top right now, he's doing just fine. He doesn't really need to zone that Moon that much, I think.
They're more waiting for either Dragon Knight 6 and or the Void 6. Once they get one of those 2 big ultimates, you have much higher kill potential. So I think it's fine he stays here for now, but I would expect him to rotate, or possibly one of those cores cover his lane as soon as they get 6.
Open wounds with the tear. He's going to just time walk away, and that's the thing. Unless I feel like KP makes a big mistake or gets stunned at the wrong time, it's really no way that he's going to die in this offlane. Fly, he had the stun, but he didn't have the mana for it, so it wouldn't matter anyways. And that's the biggest difference between the games right now.
Slardar has 0 CS at 4 minutes, and he's still not level 3. This is...
Even above that Iron Talon that I was talking about, like, he needs to go to the jungle or something. He needs to get farm.
He's getting some experience right now. It's understandable Moon isn't leaving the lane, but mid lane, here we go, Kaipi. Normally you'd expect the Void to wait until level 6, but he's already here at 4.
No vision at the bottom room for OG. They don't know this is coming. He's ready to go with the time walk. Moo has no Dragon Tail, so this is kind of tough. Nobody's just going to walk in, though. Moo can turn around with a brief fire, but it is only level 1 at this point.
They want the IO. They want Crit to come in and for the Viper to kind of pressure the Dragon Knight.
Everybody's here. It's
4 heroes mid.
They're going to go in with the Dragon Tail, Rolling Boulder in as well. They're going to set off No Tail as lockdown, but they have the overcharge, keeping alive the brief fire, get the first blood, wave and tear, rotation from 5, but No Tail will get dropped down with the last right click.
What a next level gank by Newbee. I'm describing, alright, they're gonna wait for the level 6s, they're gonna play this, very safe. They say, screw that, we got an invis rune, we know they don't have any vision at the bottom rune, we're gonna rotate in our Earth Spirit as well as the Lich and just go for a kill. That's a Frost Armor level 1 Lich. That's a Dragon Knight that had 2 points of Dragon Blood and only 1 point of Breathe Fire.
Yeah.
OG had every reason to play that lane very aggressively, and Newbee normally not the type of heroes that make the early rotation, so...
And it took him a lot to get that kill, too, because of the overcharge, things like that.
Bottom lane, there's a go on Kaipi, but...
He's going to TP out, he's fine.
He knows the matchup here. He knows that OG are lacking stuns for the most part. At best, they have just Avenge stuns. Slaughter is not going to be able to rotate early and just carries the TP if the time walks and quote out. Still a good job forcing him out, but I mean, Void getting his levels. He is primarily just here to be level 6, make sure he gets decent chronos and set up for the clinks. He's not expected to be a damage dealer, so early on, all going according to plan for Newbee. Now ahead by 1,000 gold and over 1,000 experience.
And the biggest problem for OG at this point is just Moon has nothing. He has no CS still. He did
0 CS at 6 minutes.
He caught up in experience, but that really doesn't matter. He's like, no boots. If he has boots or something and he runs and he finds a kill climb, he can start catching up, but he has got nothing. Literally nothing, except for an Iron Talon. And Hao is sitting right next to Rolling Boulder, and they're setting up. He cannot afford to die. He's going to get Boulder smashed. He'll get the Slithering Crush off, and he will stay alive for only a moment longer. They get the kill with the clinks. That is making a bad day worse for Moon Meander on that Slark. Dear God.
All according to plan here for Newbee. And the thing that's scary, Mott, is they have level 6 on Clinks now, so they can give the lane to Earth Spirit if they want. How can start rotating. We may see him wait until he gets a couple more points in Skeleton Wall, because it just makes your movement a lot more efficient. But on the mid lane, No Tail taking some harassment. I always hear Venge sitting behind him. That ward has now expired at the very least, so they don't know the Venge is in the area, but we just have such strong defensive heroes. Dragonite's tanky, and then you've got the Frost Armor on top of it all, so killing him is no easy task.
Yeah, Moo is right now doing pretty damn well. He's third in net worth currently. The Lifestealer, though, this happens often when you have just a Lifestealer in the safe lane. It's so tough to gank and so tough to bring him down and put pressure. He's going to be second in net worth. He's getting pretty much free farm at this point. Going to go for his Armlet here next as he has the early Blightstone. But this is where it's going to get interesting as we see Hal will probably make his move sooner rather than later, as now he's got the Soul Ring ready to go to look for some ganks, get the death packs off in the jungle, give the lane up, like you said, to Kaka or somebody. And Kaka's almost level 6 too, which is even bigger. You look at Magnetize, that's going to do a lot of damage. They can look for even more damaging ganks mid or elsewhere.
This is the power of the Lich, and for OG, just the limitations of their lineup, where they're light on stuns against Null Flame Void. So Newbee have played this really well, and they, with their characteristic, brand of aggression. And at this point, OG, I don't really know that they can rely on Moon to get them back in the game. Moon is so far behind. He needs to catch up. It's really going to be more on the Viper and the Lifestealer to create space for the Slardar, because if Slardar doesn't have a blink, doesn't have an armlet, he's just a non-factor.
He has no boots now, man. He still doesn't have boots.
And he's squishy. He's actually quite killable. You pop Sprint, you get stunned once, Clinks is strafing with a death pack, you're dead. So he's going to need a lot of help to get back in this game.
He's going to have to be, I think, tethered and overcharged to survive if he goes in with that sprint and look for a Slithering Crush.
But you really don't want to be committing that on Slardar. Like, yes, you want the Viper to be as tanky as possible and to be the front liner with Slardar just setting up the gank. So they're in a bit of a pickle here, and you could see OG feeling that way. Very constricted, still waiting on the level 6 on Io, a ways off, and I would expect Newbee to continue making moves around the map, already rotating the Dragonite top. This is a clear indication they want to push. They're looking to take tier 1s with the Elder Dragon form and the Catapult. So the 8.5-minute Catapult push, here we go.
Yeah, they time it perfectly as you talked about the Siege Creep. Moo has his Elder Dragon form, Hal's got Scrape like you talked about. And there's no reason for OG to contest this with Moon being so far behind if he's got like boots being very
They want to fight mid. They have Chain Frost and Chrono as well. So I think Newbee are not going to give up any free towers in exchange here. You can see the ping already coming out from Chua.
And the Ice Armor is going to make it even more difficult for OG to take down his tower. They're going to try to put pressure. They're already going to TP back one. That's going to be Kaka to TP into the tier 1 tower. That's coming in from KP. He's got that Chrono Spear. He's going to look for crit. Not using it yet. Magnetize will go into No Tail. Gets the Bowler Smash off. There's the Frost Blast. They have enough damage to silence. Will he TP home in time? Absolutely not. They get the job done.
And they get the tower. And Tower is hunting for kills. He might be able to solo kill Moon. He sticks around, and if Fly backs away, Fly is heading towards mid. Hal just looking for the opening here. Are we going to see the solo kill? He didn't pop the strafe, or he would have had it.
He thought he might not have gotten it there.
He was expecting backup. I think trying to just bait out a TP or someone to pop out from the trees, but he actually could have gotten a solo kill. They still have Chronomont. They can keep on pushing.
Yeah, they're ready, but they're being a bit hesitant. They need to creep wave first and foremost. They're going to get the Ice Armors up and ready to go. No more Elder Dragon form. That's probably their cue to back up. And that's going to give at least OG a little bit of respite here, but not much. And again, the biggest thing is Miracle. He is still free farming. He's going to have that armlet. He's top in net worth now, but what can he do in the next couple of minutes? That's the most important thing, LD.
Get the armlet, and at that point, I think it is a tough question. Like, how do you really make plays as Lifestealer? You don't have a Batrider doing fast. You're running in against a lot of reliable stuns. If Lifestealer's running in, he's going to have to either pop Rage early, or they're going to Dragon Tail him, throw him. Also, whoever you're hitting has Frost Armor, so they're very resistant to physical damage. I think Miracle's just going to have to wait for other heroes to combo with. I'm not sure who that really is. Like, maybe the relocate ganks?
Yeah.
It won't be the Slardar, because Slardar still has, 5 minutes to go before he gets a blink. And that's assuming he doesn't die.
He's got the Ringer protection too. He might even just stop off for Tranquils or something first and foremost before he even heads into the Point Dagger. I'm not sure he can afford that though.
They've just itemized and laid this really intelligently against OG. And OG, to me, are just going to have to play reactively, bait Newbee into dives. Newbee are a very aggressive lineup and react more so than dictate the tempo. But Newbee can also just play the farm game. Like, if they want to sit back, if they want to take this late, they have Frost Armor, which scales great into late game. Our Spirit is a fantastic support to combo AoE damage with the Chrono. OG are going to try for a smoke here. 3 heroes grouping up, but they're smoking into a Chrono that's online.
They're going to go on No Tail mid. They are not expecting this. There's the Dragon Tail. Newbee were looking for their own smoke. They instead found No Tail mid. He's He's going to get the stick charge off. He might stay alive for the time being, but the Chain Frost will finish him off with Schwan coming into the tail end of the gank.
And the best part is they brought in Hal, so the hero that OG were trying to smoke gank is already gone. Newbee, great anticipation. Well, one of the things you'll see really high-level carry players do is when your team goes for a gank or a rotation, get your carry out of there, because likely he's also being ganked at the same moment if there's no counter gank in sight.
And Newbee didn't have any vision on the map, really. They had no observer ward. That observer ward towards that ancient stack I don't think was up yet, and so they had no idea. They even used to scan. Newbee were like, okay, well, where are they? They're not currently ganking us. Let's just go on mid then. I guess we're going to be fine. They don't get the tier 1 tower, but again, it just feels like OG are kind of slowly but surely falling behind even further and further at this point.
And you could feel like Miracle knows he needs to do something. He understands Slark is going to take a while to come online, so he's in a mud golem. He's looking for solo kills. Can he get Schwan?
Here comes Hal, though. Schwan is still in trouble. They do have the Elder Dragon form. They have the Sun ready to go. Miracle, no infest for 66. They have no rage, but Moo just lost the Elder Dragon form in the last second match. Just a wheel tear. They might be able to get the kill, but the Vulgar Smash comes in and stops the push coming from OG to look for that kill. Push him back for the time being, but
That is the one easy solo kill. If he finds the Lich, even with Frost Armor, with the help of the Blightstone and the Armlet, he does have the burst to bring him down, but Earth Spirit is going to be able to roll away usually. Dragon Knight should be able to at least live long enough to stun and then TP out and run away. Clinks is too fast, and Void has the time walk, so he finds the one hero he can kill, but it's only a Lich. And Lightstealer's not farming during that time, so
they need a lot more than that.
It's all fighting time here for the Slark move now up to 800 gold. Probably going to be building either a 4-staff or maybe Tranquils, but we'll have to see. At this point, he is. It looks like he does not want to build the Tranquils here, as he's locked the rings. So slowly siege mid.
They're going to be able to grab this tier 1 tower, but here we go. Magnetized breaks off, I think, actually.
Oh, Kaka with the midget roll. That's not what you want, my friend.
That was unfortunate.
That's a freebie. OG definitely need those to get back in this game.
And they get the tower too, which is huge. But they were giving room for KP down bottom. He does have time walk. He should be fine, but they won't get the tower. It is not in deny range, luckily enough for Newbee. But they're actually going to gank Miracle here. They have a TP coming in on OG's side. It's going to be...
He has him fast. Watch out for those 9k MMR plays. This is not an easy kill.
Relocate, gank. They're going to come in, but they get the 1-2 breathe fire. The Chain Frost is going to bounce through and destroy everybody, but they have the overcharge going, or Fly still out somehow. Great. Another bounce will finally bring him down. Moon, time dilated. He has to head out. Miracle will pop the rage. Moon's actually TPing away as No Tails come in. They can't get the kill. Can they get anybody? Can OG salvage this? How is he ready to go looking for Moo or... Moon, or Miracle.
Or Moon. He'll take whatever kills he can get this game on. But he's been scouted, he's logged into a sentry, Hal's in a lot of trouble, no TP, no way out. It's all in on Moon, he's gonna get him though, that's 4 dead. And they ain't done this yet, they roll into no tail, but I'm not sure these two have
the two supports. They're not
higher power to get it done. They might lose Schwan, actually.
He is going to get right click down. Actually gets a good stun off coming out from Kaka to save his life. Crit comes and they have the tether moves between now. They have the spirits up as well. Schwan's still getting chased down. OG looking to salvage whatever they can, but they can't because Moo is here still with the Elder Dragon form. His armlet is up. And that was a great engagement from Newbee. The fight recap does not show how badly it went for OG there, but even still, top net worth is going to be Miracle.
And mid lane, Kaka using the nighttime and using the wand fight. This is the mark of a great team. They don't just settle for those 4 kills. They immediately use that time when supports are dead, when OG is clearly lacking vision to go drop the deep reward. So Newbee already thinking a couple steps ahead here, getting ready for their next round of progression.
Tier 1 tower is still ready to go for Newbee. The Elder Dragon form will be back in 32 seconds, but down bottom, OG, it's taking another tower, so the network graph is starting to even out. The last fight, it was looking okay, and then they unfortunately lost like 4 heroes in the process, so that wasn't the best thing. But OG are still not in a terrible spot. Yes, they need more room for Moon, but he's up to 1,300, so that Blink Dagger is coming pretty soon. Meanwhile, Fly might get wrapped on here. You can see that Kaka is in a great spot. He's got the ward down. He actually sees the courier fly through, so they know that somebody's there mid.
Very patient play by Kaka, just waiting for that opportunity to set up a gank mid. And it's only Fly right now, not the best hero. And they are going to end up getting a tower with the Clink. So, in the end, that's a pretty big win. And here we go in the mid lane. There's the stun to start off on Fly, but reinforcements have arrived in the form of a tether move speed increase, Viper, Lifestealer bomb. They're going to find Kaka.
Oh, that infest out. He does get off a good magnetize. Another chain cross coming through. They get the mech off, but Fly will instantly evaporate. But how? Action trouble. No death packed up. He gets brought down. No Tail gets the tether, gets the overcharge as well. But there's the Chronos Trigger. They bring No Tail. They want Crit instead. They're trying to find whoever. KP keeps switching targets, but Crit will eventually fall. KP time walks out. It'll turn into a 2-for-2. It's not bad for OG so far. And Moon's looking for more. He doesn't have the mana for the Slithering Crush, though, and he can't get the stun off. That would have been a huge kill if they could bring Moon down, but unfortunately not able to do so.
Still, overall,
quite a good sequence of events for OG. Like, these even trades are definitely going to favor the team that's playing from behind, and Chrono also gets committed in a 2-for-2, so I think getting the Clicks kill, getting the 2-for-2, you're overall very happy with that with your OG, and most importantly, Slark did not die, so Moon, as you mentioned, Mod, he's getting very close to the blink. Then you have easy Infest Bombs, then you have Chain Stun with the Slark plus anyone that gets relocated in, like Avenge, to be able to find the kills, and, well, I say Chain Stun, more so the burst damage that other heroes will bring to the table. So OG will be able to find kills. OG will then be able to threaten with map control, and I think that's where for Newbee they need to shift their game plan a bit, play a little more reactively, use the Chrono to counter the relocate rather than just jumping a hero, because if Crit's in the position, you can always relocate that hero out to safety. So with the long cooldown that Chrono has until Axe is out, you do have to be very judicious with how you use it.
Yeah, I agree. And right now for Newbee, they're going to find that Swan gang. That's the easy one. They're going to get the Slurry Pressures out. That will get Moon his point dagger. They're going to bring Crit and Moon back to the base more than likely, or wherever they relocated from. And
yeah, that's the Echo Saber now on Lifestealer. He is going to be hitting like a truck.
This is a more common build that we've seen recently. It was like, for a while it was Armlet S and Y, but everyone's been turning this into an Echo Saber instead, which I'm totally down for.
Echo Saber is great on any hero that has some attack modifier that scales well with extra attacks. Like, so for example, anyone who has an natural crit, Echo Saber is fantastic. Anyone who has a fast, the item is great. Lifestealer has Feast, so it's really good on him. Especially because you get the double attack at the very start of an engagement when Feast does the most damage. So really like the pickup, but you just have to be careful. There is a Desolator out now. They need that physical damage versus Lifestealer, and they have it. Speaking of which, they are Banisher on the ground.
That's an interesting creep, honestly.
100 him up, though. They can kill this thing real
Yeah,
quick.
he's going to go running cock, but he actually gets the Hydra on time.
They smoke immediately. They want to go in, it looks like.
They're going to try to turn this. Moon? That's a region I don't know if you want to go for it. They were looking for the Chronosphere they couldn't find, but right now, left in a no man's land. Great stuff from Moon, but will not save his friend's life, as he will have to just slither away from here. But there's the Chronosphere, only on to No-Tail. Miracle does walk in at the end. No-Tail is in a dire straits right now. Great swap out for play. Gets the knife off. Still low. Will get silenced up at the tail end. The Magnetize will come through, and now it's going to be Newbee going to work. They do get the buyback out. I believe that was up on the IO. Miracle going back to work the open wounds. The Rage will finally come through.
But it's not ready! We need a couple more seconds! These chain runs from Chuan are ruining OG. Check out the damage stats here. 1,083, and he just dropped it at the very tail end of the fight. Not often you get that hyped up about a Lich after like the 5-minute mark, Mod, but Chuan is having a hell of a game here.
These Chain Frost have been next level from Chuan a lot of these fights. Obviously very good against the IO to begin with, and IO not only died once, bought back, got back into the fray, died again, I believe.
They had relocate there, and Infest was about to cool down with some creeps nearby, but Infest did not cool down in time, and Lifestealer running into 5 heroes. So Slark got a decent crush off, I think it was on 3 pretty early on in the fight, but Viper died quickly, the Venge swap was already committed. It was one of those weird chronos where KP did not actually catch Lifestealer, still a great chrono, because he kept Miracle away from the fight with no way to get into it.
He was on the low ground in the river, and he was completely separate.
His only job in most of these fights is to make sure that Miracle is slowed down. Whether that's, just casting a time dilation on him so that the rage cooldown takes longer, whether that's Chrono blocking him away later on if it's try to chain bash him, if he gets some attack speed. If Miracle's not hitting, OG are not going to be able to take fights. So great job there by KP. Great overall teamwork from Newbee. And they're in the driver's seat now. They have a Clinks with the Desolator, so OG have to be very cautious here. One bad fight, and they could give up a Roach, but little do Newbee know that OG is actually going for it now.
Newbee still might fight this, though. You can see that the Roach is going down. What will Newbee do? Will they back off? Will they wait a second? Katie has that blinking Chrono. Yeah, exactly. And they see Miracle and No-Tail right together. Will they go for it? Moon's right behind them as well, but instead they back up Newbee, being very patient with this next play.
They know they're fighting into a swap out of the Chrono, a relocate out of the Chrono, and an Aegis on the Lifestealer. So this is a window where OG will be able to apply pressure on the map. We may even see Newbee just trade towers, kind of dodge the fights. As good as their team fight is, as well as they might match up against OG, that +1 life is really difficult to fight into.
OG, they'll pick up the Tranquils for Fly. They're starting to group together. They want to make sure that they can bring down towers. They have the Sages. They know they have some time to work with. Newbee don't really want to fight into this exactly like what you talked about with everything they have. Relocate. Aegis up for the Lifestealer. So OG have a couple of minutes here. Newbee can maybe look for another smoke if they have one. I'm not sure if they do. Let's check real quick.
Newbee do push quite fast with the Dragonite and the Clinks, so I wouldn't be surprised if they just play that game and keep away. But knowing Newbee and their mentality, they do love to fight. So
Yes.
I think most teams in this position would either not take any fights or only take very safe ones. But you do see the ping out from Kaka. Let's go push top, guys. Look, we got the ward here protecting us. If they're going to try to ambush us, we'll likely know. We could just trade. I think this is the right call, as much as Moo and Hao might like to dive for kills.
Yeah. And I don't know if they want to give away the tier 2, but I think because there is an Aegis up and they might TP back, they might defend, they might not even get the tower. There's a lot of options here. The Elder Dragon form will come out for Newbee, and they're going to begin the push. They're going to sit behind.
It may actually be OG who even has to back. Like, they don't quite have the tower damage. There's no Death Slayer on their team. Dragonite with an armlet and the ultimate.
Newbee are
it's
just
extremely
rushing the
hard.
tower. Meanwhile, OG...
They can force OG TPs and then just back away, or they could just take a 2-for-1 here with the tier 2 mid. Under siege, OG don't want to allow this though, they're already TPing back.
They're ready to go. No Tail's going to come in, he's got the Viper Strike. They can jump in, they have only Chrono Spear, but Newbee are...
They don't want to jump in, they want to force the TPs out and just back away,
Yeah.
so... I like this play from Newbee. They're basically trying to dictate the tempo by dodging fights, where earlier in the game they were trying to dictate the tempo by forcing them. This is a great adjustment by them, and for OG, the issue is it's kind of hard to catch Newbee off guard. They have so many heroes they can disengage on their own, and just big spells that can help the team out. Or Spirit, very difficult to jump. Maybe going to go for a smoke play now, as we do see Moon and Fly on the prowl here bottom. They're carrying Miracle, packing some heat, but not easy to find kills. You can see Newbee are very good at playing this game.
Miracle's feeding out bottom. He's like, someone has to farm this. This is so close to the tower. There's gonna be somebody farming this here
Al
momentarily.
wants to. They honestly can dive and kill him at the tower. Lich is not going to be able to stop a dive, but it's getting out. They could be tricky.
And Moon and Flyer are both ready to go. Oh god, this is just such patient play from Newbee. Like, okay, we don't know where the rest of them are. We see that both Crit and No Skull are top, but they could relocate instantly towards that bottom lane. They have no idea where the rest of the squad is with Moon Meander, and most importantly Moon, because they know that he's the vehicle, I think, for the Lifestealer.
This is the danger with Infest Bombs, right? We used to see this a lot back when Lifestealer, back in like the days when Storm Bat Rider were just premier early draft picks. Lifestealer would be more popular then because they're such great vehicles, but the danger is this is a lot of time that he's spending not farming right now. This is time when the Aegis isn't being utilized, and yeah, Newbee are also kind of bottled up in their base, but Lifestealer... not the best solo carry later on in the game. Dragonite eventually gets Frost Dragon, and then he can kite the Lifestealer a lot more easily. Frost Armor will be leveled up, so physical damage becomes less and less effective, and you're going to struggle to keep up in net worth. Viper's farming a lot, but Viper is not the best hero to take into late game against... I mean, even Dragonite Clinks with a Void backing up to me easily outcarry that, so... I think for OG, you can see the nature of their lineup kind of unveiling itself. They're very reliant on the pickoffs, the spread the map offense, but... Newbee just recognizing that wasting. I mean, he's how long has he been in there? It's been like 3 minutes, I think.
And they're actually going to get baited in by a Quink's Illusion.
Oh, they F damage it. They commit everything. They even pop that dust.
God, Miracle's like, what have we done?
Oh, it's so much time wasted. And immediately, Newbee, their group's
They're already top.
They're gonna push.
They were there 2 minutes ago. They were all in the tree line just waiting. Like, okay, just make a move so that we can start pushing your tier 3. And they're going to go right for it. How is going to work for the straight?
And they're so ready for this. They have Chuan mid. He's going to throw Frost Armor on the tower. You are not going to win a tower trade, but they do get the swap on move.
Who's going to back up for now? Dude, Chrono comes down, KB misses, but No-Tail, he actually is right into it. As of course
He also got Miracle because he's infested.
Now they're going to infest out, and Viper Strike will come through. How is Low will finally get brought down? It looks like Newbee might have underestimated this fight from OG, and Kaka will have to TP with the Ghost Scepter and will get out of the way. So that was a pretty good swap to start things off and Fly. A little bit awkward for Newbee to stay there. And
yeah, the idea with that swap was not so much like, okay, guys, we're going to kill Dragonite. It's don't let Newbee just walk away for free and waste this last bit of time that we have with the Aegis. So as soon as they swap him in, Newbee have to stick around. It was an okay Chrono. It technically got 2 heroes, but it wasn't a hero that they could kill. Like, Viper with the Lifestealer infested. You're not killing either of them. No. So, ends up overall being a nice win there for OG. They do get the Clinks kill, but... that was while the Aegis is up. Now Aegis is down. Newbee, I doubt, are going to give up a free Aegis again. If OG want to go for that, they'll likely have to smoke. So this will be the real test. Newbee much more likely to take a head-on collision type fight at this stage.
They're going to take the tier 1 tower down. They're going to get a little bit more gold going back their way. Their tier 3 tower top did take a fair amount of damage for them only being there for a couple of seconds. I mean, they were there for 10 seconds maybe, and How did a decent chunk of damage coming out with the Searing Arrows and his Death Glitter. And now he's even going to get the BKB as well, so How will not fall that quickly like he did in that last engagement. So.
Yeah, BKB is very big in this game. There's only a couple of abilities that it deals with, but they're crucial ones. Open Wounds is crucial, removing the slaughter amp damage, and more importantly, dodging the crush, even the bench stun. Like, if he gets chain stun, he's useless. So, with this, he may die in the fights, but he'll be around long enough that Dragon Knight has more time to hit, possibly gets off a bit of extra physical damage in his own right. It's not the sexiest item, it's not the best BKB game, but it is a necessary one.
Yeah, and that's the case I feel like for a lot of BKB games. A lot of pros just don't want to go for it, but you kind of have to in most circumstances.
It's not a swag item, right? You know, it's like, oh man, look at that BKB pop. I'm so sick of this game.
Okay, it's just another BKB. He's going to stay alive for a while, but OG did get some nice push going out in the top tier 3 tower. They did a fair amount of damage, not as much as Newbee did to the opposing tier 3 tower, but OG are not backing out yet. They want to first take down that ward, that sentry real quick, and make sure they have vision advantage on the high ground. But Newbee will smoke up, and they'll set things up here, David.
Yeah, it's like I said, when Aegis is down, Newbee is much more likely to take that fight, and they do have some vision now, Mott. I saw Moon creeping through the river. They're just barreling down mid. The Dragon Knight ultimate, though, is going to end fairly soon. This really limits his relevance in the fights. He's also sitting on 4,700 gold here. A wand fight by Newbee pretty much guarantees an Assault Cuirass or similar huge item. A loss in a fight will significantly delay it, but Newbee aren't going to find it. Good back there by OG.
Moon just draw that line. The line that Newbee took for that smoke PC gank, he predicted it almost perfectly. So they even use their scan, OG does, just to make sure that they're not still being invaded, their jungle's not still being warded up by Newbee. But they did avoid the gank. They don't lose anything in the process. Newbee wanted to be aggressive like you were talking about. And the next big thing is what you were referencing earlier, that Roche. When Roche comes up, it's going to be very important for either of these teams, really. And like you said, Newbee doesn't want to get that ace with free because then OG has more room to work with. So looking at the timer, we'll know in a moment when it's going to be up, and it might be an early Roche here.
Neck in that game right now. To me, OG, they win the chaotic fights. Newbee definitely win the organized ones with the better team fight lineup. The overall, at least slightly better scaling cores. I mean, Venge, Slark are great from a more support type role at amplifying your team's damage, but I would say if it's an organized fight where Newbee have great vision going in, then they're very likely to take it. So with this pickup, the tides may begin to turn. Getting the Assault Cuirass against a Slardar, a Lifestealer with his own AC and the Blightstone and the Venge. They really needed that plus armor.
Yeah.
Still, OG have so much they can almost just punch right through it. What are we looking at here? Minus 15 on the Slardar. You've got another minus 5, minus 7 from the Lifestealer, so you're looking at minus 22. Then throw in the Venge with the Max Wave of Terror. You're looking at minus 28 armor mod. AC is going to help, the DK Armlet's going to help, but I don't even know if that plus the Frost armor is enough.
I mean, he still has a ton of... look at his armor, though. Sitting at 49 when he had the...
yeah, he's fine, but is the team...
No, that's the biggest point, yeah.
I mean, right, Faceless Void's at 24. You know, he'll be, slightly negative. It's not too bad, but the nice thing about Frost armor is you also get the attack speed slow, so it doesn't matter if they punch through all your armar.
I think they might be
still
okay
hitting slower.
They have a Ghost Scepter on the Earth Spirit, so any physical damage is not really going to matter. The right-click damage, I should say.
We may see that late game Fusel Blade, but here we go, Newbee moving towards the Roche Pit.
So important.
How's Invis? Oh, he actually reveals himself! They are baiting a bit.
Baby, they're going to get the Silence up on the fly. Good forward smash. Magatize out to 3 now. No tail. He still has that mech ready to go.
Miracle's on his own. Miracle needs help up to the north. Caught out. Trying to get away. They're going to lock down a Lifestealer. Can they finish him off? They can, but Moon totally late to save the day.
Now, no tail with his Maelstrom doing some decent damage to the Rocket lost 2 on a Newbee. They get up the front through. Moon getting brought down. Chain Frost on the other side as well. Blowing up no tail. All 5 dead. Seemingly out of nowhere. Twan and Moon pick up a double kill. This is right before Roche respawns. That might have been the game-winning fight. And again, Twan with another beautiful Chain Frost. That's absurd.
MVP of that fight for me was Kaka. He runs into 3, he drops the Magnetize, throws out the Boulder Smash, gets the roll on them for the slow as well. He dropped his whole combo, then he goes Scepters. And they're just sitting there like, what do? We can't blink to help Miracle, who headed up to the north and was trying to flank. So the Isle wasn't able to help him. The Slaughter couldn't get there in time because his blink was disabled. Kaka just single-handedly won that fight for Newbee, and then Schwan just took out the trash. Newbee looking really strong, and I guess in good news for OG, we haven't gotten the rush yet because they only just respawned. But I mean, there's not a whole lot of a silver lining after
They're
they
going to
play.
rush to even contest that Roshan. I don't even know if they can really do that at this point, but they give Roshan away. That's almost too much to give away to Newbee at this point, because then you can push without worrying too much, I feel like, if you're Newbee with the Aegis. But it's tough.
And with the Aegis, Newbee will probably look to chip and siege. And I mean, OG, as we talked about earlier, like their lineup is more of a pick-off, kind of like spread the map type of lineup. They don't really want to head-on fight, but you have to if they're sieging. Here we go, though. They find Kaka off the bat, they burst it. That's the way OG wants to start a fight.
Moo's going to get brought low. Miracle can't do enough damage. No Tail going to work with Viper Strike. Instead has to turn his attention toward KP. No Chronosphere for 25, but he time walks away. Just in time, both OG will back up. They get the one kill, but they buy back onto Kaka. They're ready to defend this. How?
He's still amped, though, so they know when Newbee come into the pit. They already know he bought back Newbee. Their attack fully revealed, and Crit's in a great position here, Mod, on the high ground.
As Monkey just falls in, he goes to the Magnetize, Miracle gets the Rage up instead, but no Tail gets set up by Great Boulder Smash, gets the Mega off, but he's low. Move bringing him down with an unstoppable.
The relocate save was late. They did save the Viper. This is bad.
Swap out. Chain Frost will bounce through. Can Kaka bring him down his own? They've already brought down another hero. Fly, and finally, they will take down another 4 dead. KP gets it done with a dominating spree. Swamp with a double. They'll find another 5th one on the back end with KP going to work on the Slaughter. All 5 dead again for OG. They just lost the fight. They'll lose another one and Roche on top of it.
You can just see how the high level of execution required for OG's lineup in this game, right? They get a pick off the bat, and then Dark Spirit just buys back. They slightly miss the relocate save, and the fight just falls apart as soon as that happens. Down the Viper, they just can't. They have no chance of taking the fight. Newbee have too many ways to kite the Lifestealer. Whereas I feel like if Newbee lost the first hero, like let's say Chuan goes down early, or even if they potentially lose, the Clanks, like Dragon Knight still might be able to carry the fight for them. So OG, incredibly high level of execution required there around the pit, couldn't quite pull it off, and this is where things get scary if you're OG. It's very dangerous to jump onto Newbee when they're sieging you. They have tons of burst, a lot of instant kill potential, And for Newbee, they're a great sieging lineup as well. They already have the Clinks with the Deso, the Dragon Knight with an AC, now building towards a Satanic or a Heart. He's going to be ungodly tanky. Forget about all their minus armor. It won't matter if he has an Armlet or a Satanic or a Heart. So once that next item's completed for Dragon Knight, I expect Newbee will begin to push. They will begin to chip. They may not fully commit to a lane of ranks, but they are going to force OG to play defense, and one mistake from OG will likely cost them a lane.
I mean, it's not only just the one item coming up for Howard Moot, it's that one item for everybody else on the Newbee squad too. Like that next set of items that OG don't have, because now they're down almost 10,000 net worth at this point. It's going to be a struggle for them. They just don't have the control, and it comes back to maybe it's not all on Moon. I don't want to make him out to be the one hero that really lost him the game. I think this particular matchup, but he certainly didn't have a good start. And maybe you could argue that if he had gotten these items earlier, it would have been a lot better.
The heroes start in the lanes definitely hurt them, but I wouldn't necessarily say as long as Miracle gets caught, they have to relocate. No, the Chrono interrupts it. KP, what a play!
And they're going right into the crit. They will take down Miracle. I think he got out for a second there, but finally gets brought down. He's dead for 60. No buyback on either of these heroes now.
I got so excited I said KP. KP though. Oh man.
That Chrono, that was actually nuts.
That was like the quarter of a second and like just that slight bit of distance before the relocate fully procs.
He knew it was coming. He was waiting for it. He's like, all right, crit is right around the corner.
It's real. This is why it's scary to play IO against Void, because you have to time it perfectly. And if they ever have vision, it's gonna be almost impossible to get it off. But now that's the free opening they need. They will begin the siege. No buyback of Lifestealer, at least one lane likely to go down, because they're gonna force that no tail in.
Forward. The Chain Frost will almost bring him down. KP's looking for that kill. He gets the mech off, but the bounces are still going, and No Tail will actually end up falling. It's gonna be 4 dead. They'll have to buy back a No Tail. Newbee are pretty low at this point in time, but they will be able to take down the tier 3 tower. Will they go for more LD?
Oh, you betcha. They want to force out more buybacks. They're still on the power play. They don't have the bench alive. And Lifestealer only now respawning.
Good stun, but Moose so tanky. Goes for the armlet. He's just right-clicking him down. Sitting on his Elder Dragon form. KP with a time dilation and No Tail will dive back, but here comes Miracle. It's time to head out for Newbee. They got the melee racks.
DK has his heart, though, Mod. DK is going to be at full HP momentarily.
They're going to go back in. They've already killed the crit IO, and KP's coming through. He's got his Chronosphere in 18 seconds. Moose regenning up as well, like you talked about. There's the jump in. The Dragon Tail Miracle cannot afford to die. The Infest is out there. They call GG. Double kill for How. Newbee with a stellar game in game number 1, LD.
I really pinned this one on the lanes. I feel like OG actually played, they outperformed how the game should have gone after the laning stage, and a lot of that was just really good smoke ganks, good use of, especially Miracle, I think, showed up with the really early rotation on